everyone, Tori here with today's December daily video, or finishing December daily quickly. Today I'm working on the 18th, and the 18th is actually not a very quick one to finish, just because it was one of the busiest days and one of the best days of my whole entire Christmas. So it doesn't get finished super quickly, but there's a lot here to do, but I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited to share it with you as well. So December 18th, I was in Uganda, and today was the day that I visited the kids from the choir that I traveled with. So if you didn't know this about me, I traveled with the African Children's Choir for a year and a half, and that was 2 years ago, and I love my kids to pieces, and I really miss them. And so one of the things I got to do while I was in Uganda was go to visit some of them in their homes and get to meet their families and get to see them. And so I have photos from that trip, and I wanted to include them in my December daily. I'm also going to make a mini book about this just because it was such a special time for me. So in today's spread, I've included two large photos. This one, which was taken in one of the kids' homes, and this one, which was the sunrise in the morning before I began the day. So I have those two photos. It's the 18 number. And then I also have a selfie that I took with each of the kids. So I took a photo of me and that kid in each of their homes. And so I want to include all of those photos in my December daily because they're really important to the overall story of the album, I think. But I'm not going to include like the really big stories because I'm going to actually include those in the mini album that I am going to make later. I was going to try to keep all of my photos from this trip in here, but as you can probably tell from my other videos and from my album, it's getting really chunky, and I'm only on the 18th. So I'm trying not to include too much in this album and keep the really big stories for like layouts or other things. So today I've got these two big photos, and then I have these three inserts which have all these selfies that I had taken with these kids. So I know that I want to keep these two pages pretty simple. I love just the way they look. I love this photo of these kids sitting in the doorway. I just think it's really beautiful, and I love this sunrise. And so I think I'm going to keep those fairly simple. Not sure if I'm actually going to add anything to them right now. I might put something here because I think there's an imperfection in the photo right there, just from the printing, sadly. So I might put something here, maybe the date. Actually, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put a label there or something and just include the date with my roller date stamp. Let me just do that now while I'm thinking about it. I have this is my pile of labels. So I have these white labels, which I really like this circle one, but it seems weird to just have a circle in the middle of the page. If it was down here, that's a whole other thing. But I mean, it's going to be weird because it's in the middle of the page anyways. But there's not anything that I could really do about that, other than I have this sticker that I have from Jelly Bean Soup. And it says today in like a really nice cursive font. And I think it's white, so I think it'll stand out really well in this picture. And it might just be the thing that could go on this page, which would just cover up or take away from the fact that there's an imperfection in the printing. I could have it reprinted. I printed this at Walmart. But I don't really want to have to reprint the photo if I don't have to. Whoops. I think that's perfect. You can't even see it anymore. And it doesn't look too odd there. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just add a little label underneath that, probably one of these, maybe gold would look pretty. I got these labels, if you are wondering, at Winners, which is a store that we have here in Canada. And they didn't have a brand name on them. I can't remember if it did, but I don't think so. So I'm just going to add that little gold one there, and then I'm going to stamp the date underneath. And it was December 18th, and I'm using jet black StazOn ink and this roller date stamp from October Afternoon. It's called a decade stamp. Perfect. Just like that. And I think what I want to do is just add a really cute little enamel dot or something here. Maybe a star. Just something, maybe one of these gold sequins might be nice. Okay, actually I really like these gold stars from the December Daily Jasmine Jones kit, and I think I just want to put one little star right underneath it. And that's all that I'm going to do on this page. I wanted to keep it really simple, nothing too crazy, and that page is done. Let's just slide it in here. Okay, and then I have these pages, and what I decided I wanted to do is I really wanted to keep each of them looking pretty much the same in order to like simplify the design and also to create like a cohesive whole. So the one thing I did is I have 10 homes that we visited, and then in one of the homes there were brothers. So these two guys are brothers. So I have 10 homes, and then I also wanted to have some kind of title, and I figured the title could go here. And what I really wanted to do was just use white cardstock. So I took 2 pieces of 12 by 12 white cardstock. I believe it's basil. And I am just going to fill all these spots with white cardstock. Even behind the photos, I'm going to do that. And I think it's going to create like a really clean kind of look. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do for the title cards yet, but I think what I'll do for now is just fill it with white cardstock too, just so that I can see what the overall look is going to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount all of these photos on there so that I can see what the look of it will be. And then I'll be back in a few minutes because I'm not going to make you watch that because there's a lot of photos. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've placed paper in all of those spaces, and I really like the clean look of it. Now, one of the things I wanted to do to each square where there's a child is I wanted to add their initial above it. And I have these Dear Lizzie gold foil on foam letter stickers. And they come from the Woodland collection. And I think that those would look really cute. I like the size. So I'm just going to pull each one out and just place the letter above the photo. Now what I did while I was working is I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So I did trim down the photos a little bit to make sure that I could fit this above. So this is Patricia. And then Panina. And I'm going to keep these cards fairly simple. Other than this letter, I probably won't add that much. This is Diana. This is Nina. And this is Gibson. And I did check before to make sure I had all the letters. Thankfully I did. This is Eric. I'm just placing it in the center. This is Herbert. This is Patience, using up a bunch of my P's, which is a letter I don't really use that often, so that's good. This is Jessie. Now, this is John Grace, but I think I'm just going to put the J, not the JG. And this is his brother, Mark. Okay, perfect. So I like it. It's just a fun little like initial with their name above it. So I think it just gives a cute little look to those. Now the other thing is on the other side of each card is where I'm going to do some journaling about my visit with that child. And so I was going through my stamps trying to find a stamp that I wanted to use. And I think that I'm going to use this stamp here, which I got in a previous Studio Calico kit. It's not available anymore. Sorry about that. But it's really cute. It has this cute little banner part up here, and then all these like phrases which fit in the banner. And I was thinking that what I would do is use that banner piece and then use the phrase, the story, to fit in there, and then write underneath the journaling. So I'm going to use black Stays-On ink for this, just because I like the look of black with journaling. And I'm just going to pull the card out. I'll show you how I do one, and then the rest I will do off camera and come back and show you. So just ink up the label and then line it up above there. And then I'm going to use the phrase, the story. Just make sure it fits. And it does. I can use the other side of my acrylic block here to do this. Ink it up. And then place it right in the middle. So then it says the story, and then I'll add the journaling underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp all the rest of those, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've stamped the story on all of those. And again, I'm really liking the fact that they're all very similar, that they look exactly the same, and it's going to tell the same story. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some journaling using this Sharpie pen. It's a fine point pen. And I'm going to add just a little bit of journaling about each of the home visits and visiting these kids. And again, I'm going to keep it fairly simple because I am doing a other album, like a mini album for that. And I think when I do the mini album, I'll share more about it too. But basically, I'm just going to talk about, in the story part, I'm going to talk about like how I visited their house and how they've changed or grown or some of those things. And what I'll do is I think I'm just going to do it freehand on there and then just stop whenever I stop. And I'll do the journaling off camera, and when I come back, I'll show you what I did. Okay? Okay, so I've gone ahead and added my journaling for each of the home visits. So I'll just read them to you because I think you might find them interesting. My day, so the story, my day began with my visit to Patricia's house. I'm so proud of my sponsor child. She is working hard in school and has received 3 awards this year: honors, Bible memory, and book reading. And I think what I'm going to do is I like the double line around the story, and I want to just add a little extra something to these cards. So I'm just going to use my black pen and do like a doodly line around the photo. And I'm going to do 2. And I'm really not trying to be perfect about it. I actually sort of like when they overlap and they're not perfect. And I think that that'll just give it a really cute effect. Yeah, I like that. It just ties the 2 of them together a little bit more. So the next one was, this is Panina, At Panina's house, I met her aunt and her uncle, and I learned all about how helpful and well-behaved she is, and I'm a proud auntie. She has matured so much since tour, and it was really cool to see that when I went to her house. The next home we visited was Diana's. And Diana is one of the little girls that I sponsor. I sponsor 2 girls, Patricia, the first girl that you saw, and also Diana. So in the journaling, I just sat at Diana's house. I met her grandma and her younger sister who looked just like her. What a pleasure to visit another of my sponsor kids and to give her a gift. She loved her Bible and the watch. It's nice. And the next one is Nina. This is Nina. Isn't she adorable? The 4th home I visited was Nina's. I met her lovely and sweet mom. I'm so proud of Nina. She became head girl at the ACC primary school this year. So the school has a head girl and head boy, like the prefect almost, every year. And they get like voted and selected and stuff. And Nina is the head girl this year. It's a really big honor. And then the next one is Eric. He's so cute. He was so little on tour, and he's still pretty little, but he's grown a lot taller, so it was sort of crazy to see how tall he's gotten since tour. So my journaling just says the next home we visited was Eric's. Here, oops, I'm missing a letter. This is why it's a good thing to read these. Here I found a taller little boy than I had left on tour. What a great home and family to visit. Okay, the next one is Herbert. The next home was really close. It was Herbert's. I love this smiling, happy boy. I met his sweet mother, adorable baby sister, and his younger brother, who will be a part of Choir 45. Praise God. He is such a good big brother, too. He's just like what I remember him to be on tour. So this is sort of a tip if you have like a bunch of photos that are part of sort of like a collection, and you want something to do with them. You could keep them all very similar, like go with the same style or design for all the cards, and keep the journaling pretty similar, and it sort of takes away from the craziness and just relies more on the story when it's like this, I feel like, because there's not a lot to like draw your attention away. The story sort of stands out more. So let's see, this is Gibson, and I found my tallest son, Gibson, next. He is doing well and loves playing on the volleyball and football team at school. He has gotten so big, he gave me the greatest hug. That's sweet. Okay, next is Patience. And Patience is the little girl my parents are sponsoring. So they had sent a gift to her that I gave to her when I got there. She is so sweet. So I'm so glad I got to see Patience. She was so sweet and gave me many hugs. She was so thankful my parents were sponsoring her. She showed me her report card, and she is getting amazing grades. She even received 2 awards this year, honors and Bible memory. My parents are really proud of her because I know she's working really hard because she wants to like respect the sponsorship money, and she kept saying, tell Auntie and Uncle thank you. This is Jesse. So I love visiting Jesse and seeing how much he has matured. His aunt told me that he's become so responsible and helpful, and he takes good care of his younger siblings. What a blessing to hear this. He was a little bit of a troublemaker on tour, so it's really nice to hear how much he has matured. The next child I visited was John Grace and Mark. They're brothers. So John Grace was on my tour, And then his younger brother was on the very next tour, Choir 40, and Choir 40 happens to be the choir that my older brother Josh traveled with. So it was sort of nice getting to see both of them because I could go home and tell Josh that I had seen Mark, and I actually recorded a little message for Josh from Mark for him, which I know made Josh really happy and Mark happy because then he got to send a message to Uncle Josh. So let's see the messages I put here. So for John Grace, I said one of the last homes we visited was John Grace's. He's working so hard in class and has made it to P7. I can't believe he's going to high school next year, which is ridiculous to even think about. And then for Mark, I wrote, I also got to see Mark, who traveled with Josh. He told me to tell Uncle Josh he loves him, misses him, and hopes to see him one day soon. So it's sweet. So there we go. I've got all the stories and the photos, and I love how simple and clean it looks with just the letter for their initial, the doodling, and then the story, and then the journaling. So I think I'm going to leave those like that. I'm not going to add a lot more. I just want to add something up here for the title. And I have pulled out these 3 cards, trying to decide what I wanted to do. And I think I'm going to go with, I was going to use this Life is Full of Joy, but I wanted to put a title like Home Visits, and there's not really space for that there, so I'm going to use this card, which is just, I think it comes from the Jasmine Jones kit. It's gold foil and has these stars on it. And then I'm also going to use this card that says Count My Blessings, and I wanted to write 5 of the things I'm really happy for on this day. So, number 1, that I got to visit 10 of the 20 kids. I was worried we wouldn't get to see a lot because we had to do all those home visits in one day, but getting to visit all of them, all 10, like 10 of the 20 was really a blessing. Another blessing was taking food parcels to each family. It was really nice to be able to bless them in that way. Number 3, the car didn't break down. Well, it did, but we were able to get it to keep going. And it didn't fall apart completely. Number 4, I'm going to write ACC, or the African Children's Choir, arranging the home visits. I wouldn't have been able to do it if they didn't arrange them, so I'm really thankful. And number 5, I'm a proud auntie and teacher. So on tour, I was their teacher, and so it was really cool being able to see their report cards and hear about their stories and hear how they're doing. Just sort of makes my heart happy to see that they're working hard and they're doing well in school, and yeah, I'm just happy. So I put that there, and then this card I'm gonna put the title, and I think I want the title to be Home Visits, and I want to use these letters. I think I have enough, and I'm hoping it will fit. O-M-E. I'm hoping that it will fit on here. What I should do is just grab a ruler. So if you're not sure where you want to place your letters, or you're not sure if it's going to fit, here's a fun tip. Grab a ruler or something straight, place the letters on there, like so, and then you can line it up wherever you want it, and then stick it down. So it'll fit. So I'm just going to put home there, and then I'm going to put the word visits, because we visited multiple homes. Visit. For a second, I thought I had no S's and I was going to be really annoyed. Visits. Home visit, home visits. Yeah, we visited multiple homes, so it needs plural. And thankfully that fits too. So I'm just gonna stick that down so it just says home visits. I love these foam thickers by Dear Lizzie. They're just amazing. And I could add something down here. Not sure what. If there's anything in particular that I want to add. Maybe a flare or something. No. Like I said, there's not really anything I want to add there. Could add this. Remember this? Yeah, that's cute. Okay, so I'm just gonna glue this down with my hot glue gun. Come on, hot glue gun, you can do it. I don't know, for some reason it's being weird. Home visits. And I'm just gonna the edges are a little long. It's like slightly longer than 3x4. So I'm just gonna see if this will fit in without me cutting it. Yep. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so home visits, then count my blessings, and then I've got a story for each kid. Perfect. And then, so that's the main photo, and then I'm going to have these inserts with the home visits. And then I have this photo, and I still have my number 18, which I have not used yet. I sort of want to use it here, but I don't want to cover up this photo. But what I could do is attach it there, and then if you wanted to, you could still look at it. So you can still see the main thing on the photo. It doesn't take anything away when I put it there. Okay. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Inside the page protector, outside the page protector. And I think what I'll do is I will just staple it to the page protector right here. Two staples just to make sure it's really on there, just like that. And I don't think I want to add very much. I already have the date there. Might be nice to add like a Tim Holtz word or something like that. I have these ideology small talk word strips. And I think I just want to add one on the bottom here. I just have to find something. This feels appropriate. This one says, "Today is full of possibilities." And it feels appropriate because this is a sunrise. It's the beginning of the day. I haven't actually visited any of the kids yet when I took this photo. So it's full of possibilities. I didn't actually know how many homes we were going to visit or which kids. So today is full of possibilities. And I'm just going to leave those out because I think it might be fun to add. I'm going to keep this really simple. But I think it might be fun to add a strip, like a word strip here too. And I'm just trying to decide I like the black. I'm just trying to decide if I want to add it in black or in white. The white really stands out. I love the white, I think, because it really stands out, but I think I want it to be more subtle, so I'm going to go with black. I don't want to use that phrase, though. I was just grabbing one to try. Let's see. I like this phrase, no beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. That's sweet. This is it. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. I really like that phrase. And I think the reason I love it is because these are some kids sitting on the floor just, let's see. This kid's eating a candy that I gave them, and this little girl's holding a doll, which is probably the only toy she has. And it's probably a toy that one of her brothers brought back from tour for her. And, you know, their life isn't perfect. They don't have a lot. They don't have a lot of toys. They don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of anything. But their life is wonderful. And I don't have a lot to give them. But God is good, and He is in all things. So I'm just going to put this phrase right at the bottom of the picture, just down here. So it's subtle, but you can definitely read it. It doesn't take anything away from this beautiful picture. Just love the light streaming in and the look on the kids' faces. So I'm just going to leave that right there. Really simple. Nothing crazy. And that's it. I think that I finished today. I kept it fairly simple. I mean, obviously there's a lot of pages for day 18th because I have these inserts. But overall, I think the spread is fairly simple. So I'm just going to add it to my album. Here. So that's 18. So 14. 16. This was the 17th. And here we go. So when you look at the 18th in my album, you have this page where you have this tag just stapled on the outside, and then home visits, count my blessings, and then you've got a little story for each of the kids that I visited, and a photo of me and them, and then you've this closing photo. And that's it. So this is probably one of my favorite days in December, or this year, for like this year, and I really actually love the way that I've documented it with a little bit of gold throughout. And then I'm left here. Now, I'm feeling this page needs to be tied in a little bit, so I am going to add something. I am going to grab some of those enamel stickers, and I'm going to grab just the gold ones, and I'm just going to add a little gold dot to either side of this strip. And I feel like it ties it into the rest of the pages for this day because each page has a little bit of gold, right? So I've got the gold star here and the gold label, and then I've got the gold title, and then the gold for each kid's initial, and then just this little tiny pop of gold there. Anyways, I'm just gonna pop that in here, and that's it for day 18. So check back. I'm gonna have day 19 going up soon, in finishing December Daily Quickly. Thanks everyone for joining me. I hope that you have a lovely day, and I hope you're enjoying this series. Thanks guys. Bye.